Today I'm going to be talking about a spec project that I worked on last year. It is actually a fashion commercial, and in this video I'll be teaching you how to shoot, direct, and edit a commercial that looks high-end without having a huge budget. Let's go ahead and watch the commercial before we go into the breakdown.
I used to work at a deli 13 hours a day. I realized this was not what I wanted to do. This year I quit my job and I am now a full-time model. I have modeled in the US. Now is the time to travel overseas to model and act. I express myself through the clothes I wear. For me, it's about getting to meet new people and experience new things. Your first impression is your last. What you wear matters.
So why did I decide to shoot this project? It was actually a specs project because I was trying to venture out from a lot of the different things that I shot in the past. A lot of the people in my community know me for shooting a lot of automotive work, and so this is one of my attempts at figuring out what I would like to shoot in the future. So I actually stumbled across fashion, and the local area I was living in at the time was Norfolk, Virginia, and there's a lot of fashion people in that area. So I was able to find and connect with people to start making some fashion videos. So this is one of the people that I met. His name is Jalil Howie, and he's a pretty cool guy. We ended up working together, and I actually really like the story that he told, and that he's actually, pursuing his dreams to become a model.
I just got into modeling. I've been doing it off and on for years, but I really started taking it serious when I came home in 2016. So
one of the fun things that I wanted to practice on this shoot was upstage lighting and creating a vintage vibe with the video. All right, guys, so let's roll straight into talking about the video. So the first shot, I can show you what it looks like in the behind the scenes here. We had one person doing a bounce. So the sun is actually coming up a little bit way to the right of frame, not necessarily directly behind the subject, but it was coming from way over here. And it was very, very early in the day, so it was a little bit more ambient everywhere. So the sun wasn't quite over the horizon. But I did have somebody standing on this side to create a little bit of fill to make sure we were able to see the subject right here. So that was the opening shot. He was sitting on the bench and then he got up. Basic stuff. Then we cut to across the street actually, and he's just walking down the sidewalk. This is basic stuff, not really much lighting on here. And then we come up to this behind, like walking from behind. The camera's just walking from behind. The light's coming from this direction now because we were just over here on the other side of the street, and now this is just all natural light stuff right here. Just waiting for the right time of day and making sure we were able to get the shots we were looking for. So based on the storyboard, this was really, really easy to do. Love the way it came out. Obviously it's not one of the nicer shots because we can't really see his faces from behind. So let's move on. These are actually inserts that I shot a week later, because while I was editing, I kind of figured out that there was something missing. There wasn't really cutaway shots to help transition to the different locations and the different outfits he changed into. So that's why I added these inserts. And then what's cool is when I was living in Norfolk at the time, this shot right here, this car was actually like parked outside of my apartment like almost every day. Like this person actually drove it, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. So I added this in here to kind of make it seem like it was his car, because it kind of fits the vintage vibe I'm going for in the video, and that was pretty cool. Anyways, so now we're back to the original spot where we started. So he just walked down the sidewalk here, and then we just started the video over here in the sidewalk, one of these sidewalks over here. I'm over here walking around with the Easy Rig. You can see the Easy Rig bobble, and actually made the shots come out pretty good, and I actually like the little bit of shake that it has. It feels a little bit more rugged. So here we go. You can see that little bit of shake. Now we had him do this walk across the street multiple times. And as you can see here, obviously I cut to a different shot. So we were using the 50 and 25 millimeter Mikey MFT primes, and right here, just cut to another take. This is a different take, a different lens. So you can see I'm using the 50 mil. This looks very, very soft, and that's because the sun was still not quite over the horizon in this shot. So it's very, very soft. It's just very ambient. I really like that look. Here again, I had a couple more inserts transitioning from the different location to somewhere else. And as again, you can see a lot of the grain that I added to into the footage. Here are some birds. If you can listen closely, I added some sound effects of birds. And then right here is another shot of a building. This looks really cool. You know, shooting into the L of the building. You know, really showing depth in the two-dimensional image that I'm filming. Helps a lot. So with this, I added sound effects of trains. We were never even anywhere close to trains, but it makes it really just building the reality of the video that kind of, like, you know, adds the atmosphere. Really, sound is like 50%, more than 50% of the video. People don't realize that. Sound matters a lot more than how it looks in some instances. Now, here's another shot. He's walking from left to right of the frame. And then I continued that into the other cuts until I can break that sequence again, because I have a head-on shot. So now I can go left or right if I want to in the following shots. So let's go back to this real quick. The lighting in this obviously is very minimal. We're just using all natural light ambience. There's nothing much we could do right here unless we have like some crazy rigs, but this is like a low budget shoot with like me and the guy shooting and then like a couple friends helping out and stuff, move gear. The light in this scene right here is actually coming from behind him this way to the left of frame, and I did have somebody doing a bounce right next to me, but it's more of like a sun sandwich a little bit, just to bring the highlights in his face up just enough so I had good exposure on the camera. And then right here, this is very blatant. You can see this is just, you know, backlighting robot. Boom, clearly the sun's right there popping over the building. You can clearly see it now. You can see the flare coming in from the lenses. I like the flares from this lens. With this right here, the sun's coming from the right of frame. It's in the right of the frame over here. And so I had a guy bouncing the light from the same side. He's bouncing the light from the same side so it would wrap around to his face. You know, backlighting basics, upstage lighting basics. And I liked how that looked. And I really wanted to get the flare in there, you know. Boom, right over the shoulder. Also, if you pause right here, you can see, because it's backlit, you get that nice little edge light on the subject, separating him from the background, so you can really spot it out, allowing your audience to really hone in and stare at him. Now, because he was walking from, you know, left to right in this shot, as I said before, and now that I'm showing him directly in the center of frame walking towards camera, I can cut to whatever I want in the next following shot. So as you can see here, he's running from right to left. Fun fact, this shot is actually flipped in post, because in the actual shot, when I was actually filming it, we were crossing from this side of the road to the right side of the road, and we're actually walking this way. So if you flip the image, is what we were actually filming. So why did I flip this image? I flipped it because the next shot was going from right to left as well. The reason why I flipped the shot is because there's no logos or anything that you need to read, so it would make sense. So I flipped this shot so the next shot would flow in the same direction, making the edit flow better overall. So that's a little trick that I did there. And obviously this shot is flowing in the same direction, but if we go back here, you can see we're still utilizing backlight from the sun. You can see the edge of the objects in the frame. It's easy for you to spot out what's going on. You know, you can see the shadows there, separation from the background, and the levels of this is still pretty good. Same thing here, you can see the lines from the shadows of the tree and this light post, and then this pillar over here coming this way. All this is backlit. Boom, the next shot, you can see the sun blasting right into the frame right here, and nice flare coming in. The sun is blasting him right here. This flare kind of created a little bit of a wash on the lens, but since I was going for that vintage look, it made sense. And then we cut to another shot. This is another location, and fun fact about this as well, we found a like the dog here, like wasn't really intended to be in the video. I didn't have any like idea that we were going to be able to do this with the dog. So Like, we were just walking around and we saw this lady just, you know, in the park playing with her dog, and we were like, hey ma'am, you know, would you allow us to use your dog in video? And she was like, yeah, cool. My guy here, Jalil, was a trooper. He doesn't even like dogs. He was like, yeah man, let's do it for the video. And he, you know, he played with the dog, made it look realistic. You know, you can see him there throwing the ball around with the dog, and the video came out good. I was like, this is my favorite part of the video, the dog section. I was pretty stoked. I'm pretty stoked on that. Anyways, as you can see here, still again, more backlighting, separating him from the background. Just automatic, just easy way to make the shots look good. Once you figure it out, you will start to see this in a lot of like the high-end films. Like, everything is just upstage lit. Boom, look at this, look at the separation of the dog from the background here because of the light. Obviously the sun's coming right here. And then the last shot of the video here, same thing again. Obviously this is a little bit harsh. If I was able to do, if I had more crew, what I would have done differently here is I have somebody holding up a nice little 4x4 diffusion to diffuse the sun off of his face, and then have the sun still shine hard on his body. And it's called a soft hop, where, you know, it's soft on the face and then hard in the body. It's kind of, once you like pay attention to a lot of high-end videos and films and stuff like that, you'll start to notice like a lot of times they do that. You know, they'll diffuse the sun off the face of the subject, right? And then they'll just have the sun hit hard right here. Obviously still upstage lighting, the sun is coming from over here, and then they can just have somebody stand on the same side of the frame, like stand on this side of the camera and try to bounce the sun off that bounce and back into the face to bring up the light, warm light from the sun on his face right here. So it kind of evened that out, so the contrast wasn't too hard. But anyways, same technique, backlight. The only thing I would do different is try to diffuse the sun off of his face a little bit to make it even more soft if I were to come in for a close-up. And that's the last shot of the video. I went through that pretty quickly. I hope you learned something from that little breakdown I did. It's pretty basic stuff when it comes to lighting, and it's really fun to do stuff like this every now and then. You know, I really try to use a lot of natural lighting as much as possible, because it's free. But if I can't do that, you know, I'm starting to invest a lot more into my lighting gear. So I hope you guys liked the video. Please subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And I will be reviewing a lot more of my past projects. So I have like 30 projects to review. So I'm going to be making a lot of videos for you guys. So stay tuned.